It's a great
All
picture.
right.
I love it.
This is a good one here, my mom and I. That's the poster that he's looking for.
So I love this story because it is absolutely true, and it is very eerie and wonderful at the same time, because I was on tour and I was going to be in West Virginia, so it's a really cool place in the Smoky Mountains, and it's the cutest little town.
The Greenbrier.
But this hotel we stayed at, because Todd, the girls had been gone about 4 months, and we hadn't been separated for all the time since everything happened. So we didn't want to leave each other since it had only been 4 months. This was my first show, a live show I did, and I was very, I don't know, I was worried that I wasn't mentally able to go back to work yet. Todd came with me, and so we went to stay at this incredible hotel that I had never stayed at before, called the Greenbrier Inn. He wanted to play golf, so it was a little further drive from where I was performing, but we were there for 2 weeks. He came with me, so we stayed at this beautiful hotel. We had no idea. When we got out of the car, do you remember when we walked into the lobby of this amazing, it's the most beautiful hotel in the world I think I've ever been to. And when we walked out, we went to the lobby, what happened? Do you remember?
A person said, didn't you?
No.
No.
I got goosebumps on my goosebumps.
Okay.
And I
Can't vouch for those.
said, ooh, there is a lot of stuff going on in this lobby right now. And he said, what do you mean? And I said, there's just a lot of paranormal activity here. So he didn't really believe in that stuff, and sadly, I'd like not to, but I've had many times where it was proven to me otherwise, and so my indicator is always the chill bumps I get.
Okay.
So when we got, it wasn't bad though. When we got in there, when we checked in,
My
there's
hair's too
the
clean.
gigantic chandelier, because it was
Should
a
have her
massive
come up here and
lobby.
fix it for you. That's what
And
she
it turns
does.
out
Oh, that's
that Debbie
great.
had
Yeah, she'll help you out anytime.
donated this,
No, she sold it to us.
sold to them,
It's
I
just
guess,
super
because I
soft.
didn't know exactly the history. They Gone with the Wind chandelier,
No kidding.
and it was
I wanna go see that
grand.
so
Oh
bad.
yes. I mean,
Wow.
so we
I'm
were
gonna go.
shocked because they're
Let me know the
what?
date,
We're in the
and
middle
I'll
of.
come
I'm
for
gonna
it.
go see it now.
I'll plan like a vlog around that area and everything, and I'll come for sure.
So I asked the concierge
I want
what was
to
the
count me
history of
in.
the hotel.
Count me in.
So
I'll
it
give you
turns out the
dates.
hotel had been a hospital during the Civil War, and so a lot of people
I'll be there.
died there and were treated there. And there's
10 days,
actually also
12 days.
Perfect.
hundreds of years
Because
old,
Elvis Week is in August.
cemetery in this little town.
Yeah.
So
And
I
his-
thought, okay, that makes sense. Why I'm
Well, he
feeling
died on the 8th,
the chills,
so
right?
they do it for like that week.
So then we check
And
in,
his,
and we didn't
his
stay in the
last
actual
girlfriend, Ginger,
hotel.
is gonna
The
do like
hotel also
a
had
talk, so I have
bungalows,
tickets
like,
for
say,
that
the
talk
Beverly
and
Hills Hotel
surprising her
has.
and taking her.
So we
on it.
stayed in one of those.
Yeah.
But then someone told Todd, you know, your mother had her honeymoon here, and he thought they were talking about her honeymoon with Richard Hamlet,
What a
which
piece of
was
shit.
her last husband, and he lived in Virginia,
What an
so that
awful-
would make sense. I went down and was waiting in the spa for something.
Well,
and
no,
there
but
was-
I have to say, when they told me that, I was like, yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, who
Whatever,
cares?
whatever.
Because it was
And like they said,
someone
have you
that-
seen that? I went, no, whatever.
Yeah, we don't.
Because it's like,
Because he's
I don't even like the guy. Why would I want to go see that picture?
Exactly. So
And that
now
went on for days.
he's in the room, I'm in the spa, and I see a history of the Greenbrier Inn book. And so I pick it up and I start looking through it, and I see this photograph. And this is Debbie and Eddie Fisher. This is Todd's dad. So the honeymoon, and they said this hangs in the wall of the hotel. So I flipped and I called Todd and I said, it was your mom and dad who had a honeymoon here.
Yeah.
Now imagine we knew none of this when we went there. So they had a casino there, and Debbie had been there a few times to open the casino. And also we started to think, you know, we were laying in bed one night at 12:30 or so, and he said, I know we're only here for a few more days, but should we try to recreate that photograph with us? How weird would that be? And I said, I don't know. And he said, well, what do you think? Is it a good idea? And at that moment, the television turned on in our room. Now, this is 12:30 in the morning.
No, but it didn't actually
But
turn
the
on.
picture, come in
Right.
here and tell.
So being a technical person, there's a distinction between a TV turning on and only the electronics turning on, not the screen. So when you turn on your television, you don't have a choice. You turn on the TV lights up, fires up. In this case, though, only the backlight came on, the TV. The electronics that turned on the tuner or whatever, none of that came on. The backlight came on with a silhouette.
Right. But he stopped, and I knew what
I got
it
up,
was.
though,
And
even to inspect the TV because I was like,
no, that was the second time,
Oh,
because
yeah.
I said, he looked at me, I looked at him, and I said, Debbie, if that's you, turn the TV off.
No kidding.
Yes.
it's true.
Right? And then you jumped out of the bed.
Well, because I don't buy this stuff, right?
Yeah.
So, it's like, that was like, it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
And he jumped out of the bed, and he had the what do you call the telecommander?
Remote control.
The remote control was on the bed. There was no way it could have happened. Now, electricity does weird things, of course, but he went to look at it because he's also an electrical engineer, and he wanted to know why that happened. And so I said, just one more time. The light went on again, and he just couldn't believe it.
Wow.
So I took that, and then when it went off, when you I think you couldn't change it. You couldn't make it do anything with the clicker. Do you remember?
Right.
So he couldn't make it move, and so the TV went off. And when it did, there were two silhouettes of two people in the tube. So we took a picture of that, which we have, because I think it was Carrie and Debbie.
Yeah.
And what I think Debbie was saying is, make the picture.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about that. So we recreated the picture the next day.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Now, mind you, the building is exactly the same.
Yeah.
But
60
it's
years later.
60-something years later. All right. Hello and happy Friday, everybody. I'm super excited. Why did I show that clip, you might ask? Well, because, first of all, we have a guest tonight that I'm super excited about. We were going to do a whole other show, because as you know, I'm not usually in the theater on my solos. I'm in my office. But I got a call from a friend who I'm going to introduce in a minute, and he said, oh, I'm coming into Vegas. I said, you want to be on the show? He said, yes. I'm like, oh my God, we got to make a show now. So my friend that's here, I'm going to introduce to you, and also Ryan is here with us via Zoom. He's running everything from Pennsylvania. He's going to be here Wednesday. Woohoo! Bam! I'm super excited about that. But there's a great vlog on YouTube, and it's called Daze, D-A-Z-E, with Jordan the Lion. And we will put up the several times. We'll put up his link. It's a very popular vlog, and there's a reason for it. It's a travel vlog with all kinds of twists, and has to do with life, deaths, life after life, celebrities. It's just an amazing vlog. And so when he called to us and said he would like to do a vlog with us, we said, okay, and he came over, and we became friends like that. I mean, our personalities just went right in sync. So I have Jordan here tonight, and that was from one of the vlogs he did. So we'll go ahead and introduce Jordan the Lion.
Hi, Kat. Thank you for having me on. That's so nice of you.
I'm so excited.
I'm so used to not being the one asking any questions. I'm always asking the questions.
I
so
know.
it's
But
kind of
that's
interesting.
why I really wanted to have you, because you do so many great vlogs, and you're going to get to meet this great family of people that we have here. And then, of course, throughout the week, more and more people will watch it. And so many people know about your vlog. Of course, you have an amazing viewership.
It's getting kind of close to home, surprisingly.
But isn't that awesome?
It is.
And you know why I love having you here to talk about what you do, which we're going to do in just a second, because sometimes in my solo shows, the things that I like to talk about are personal development things that, help us get through life a little more seamlessly, especially when things aren't great. So, because life is easy when things go great.
We all wish it could be, but
Exactly. But what do? You know, so one of the things I've talked about before, which is why you're such a perfect guest, is about reinventing your life. Okay? So this is kind of the theme for tonight because, of course, just because we're in the theater doesn't
I'm
mean...
a good person to have on then for that, for sure.
Exactly. And, you know, how many times in life do we have to start over? Sometimes people will have the same job their whole life, and that's it, you know.
That's what I had to fight, you know, having a grandfather who's like, grew up in a mentality of like, you get a job when you turn 18 and then you retire from that job.
Yes.
And I was like, that's not the way it works anymore. Like, the world changes so much. You stay at a job for a couple of years. So for me, it was just like, how do I work by myself? Like, how do I work for myself?
How do you do what you love?
Exactly.
You know, because that's really the thing, is how do people find a job that they love so it doesn't feel like work no matter how many hours that you're putting into it, right? I've had to do this many times in my life, and I actually kind of like it, because I was talking last week about how God drags me kicking and screaming into a better life than I could imagine for myself.
Right. You're so right. I hate to sound like the eternal optimist, but I do always feel like every bad thing that happens has a good result in the end. And I was recently reading Patrick Swayze's book, and he was saying like he had all these dreams of what he wanted to do, like be in the Olympics, and he thought he was going to have a football scholarship, and he said, every time God changed the plan, something happened, I couldn't do it. And he said, I always just looked at it as like, I have so many interests. This just means I get to dive into another interest that I didn't have time for before.
Right. And he, you know, was a dancer and an actor and a singer. He had so many talents, you know, and I'm sure he was
And
an
that was the
athlete.
hard part, was that the dance was his true love, but he got to a point where they just said, your knees cannot take what you're going to do to it. It's not going to happen for you, you know?
Right.
And he just said, well, maybe I should be an actor. I always liked acting, and look how, you know, he got to bring the dancing into the movie that made people that weren't dance fans. I love that.
And music, because wasn't it his song, She's Like the
sure
Wind?
Was.
Or is
it
that?
Absolutely, that's his song.
And so, you know, but it's so great when you stop fighting something that's just not working. Right?
Yeah.
You fight it because you don't want the change, and then you feel anxious, and you think it's free floating, but it's not. It's absolutely situational, because you're not being your authentic self. And so a lot of people after COVID are going to be forced to do something new.
People, I think, are afraid, or we're kind of conditioned to think like we have to follow as opposed to lead. And I feel like that, you know, for me it was when I was down and out, I got a job at Jerry's Deli. And through that, I met Shelley Winters. And the first thing she said to me after talking to me for like a minute, she said, I don't know what you're doing with your life, but you're wasting your time if you're not an actor. You should be on TV. You have a great personality and all that. And I was a musician at the time. I was in a band. And she said, trust me, you're wasting your life if you don't do this. And it took me years before I finally said, maybe I should try that. And I would audition, and I, you know, barely got even a chance to audition. And finally, I just said, there's got to be another way, because that you use your personality. And I went to an audition, and the lady just said, you're very likable. I don't know how I don't know who you are. You should just start up your own thing. And I said, you know what? YouTube is there. Why not just, I got a phone. I can film on my phone. Why not just start something and see where it goes?
You started filming on your phone.
Started on my phone. I didn't know how to edit. I downloaded a free editing program, and the first day I started filming was the first day I learned how to edit too. And
you love to travel, and you love like the celebrity world because it's interesting and people have great stories.
I think it's hopeful. You know,
I do too.
You know, when I had that job at Jerry's, I would take the bus to work, and I had an hour, and I would always read like a biography on Clark Gable or someone that was inspirational in him, especially being from Ohio, where I'm from, and he had, you know, worked in coal mines and this and that, and you go, this was a guy that they looked at and said, he looks like a sugar bowl. His ears are too big and this and that, and then he became the heartthrob, the king of Hollywood.
Oh, you're talking about Clark Gable.
And I just said, if Clark could make it in this town, who's to say someone else can't in some other way, you know? It's just, you don't have to be known. You don't have to be good looking. You just have to have something somebody else doesn't have.
You know, it's so funny because when YouTube first hit the scene, and I was, I think, I don't remember what show I was on, but I was in New York at ABC. So I was on 3 shows there, so I am not sure which one I was on. But I remember when people would ask me all the time, I really think I would like to try to be an actor. And so, I would tell people, I always tell people the truth about starting a business or being an actor, because you need to know so that to see if you're cut out for that. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Because people don't know what they don't know. They've never done it. And if I say, well, here's the great part and here's the not so great part, and I start ticking things off, and, if you can live with that, then go for it.
Yeah.
But the trick is not to let yourself become miserable on the journey.
So true.
Right.
When I would get like commercials and things like that, part of it was I would see being on the sets for long days. To me, it turned out to not be fun.
Who's that sound like, Todd Fisher?
And what I realized was all of a sudden one day it dawned on me, I'm like, I like kind of the idea of being
behind the scenes.
Being the person in the show, but not being an actor. Like, how do I get to be just me?
Yes,
I was like,
course.
how can people like Paul Lind just get to be them? So for me, I was like, when I started this vlog, I said, I have so many cool historical places around me. If I just force people to get to know me in the video, like if you have to put up with me to see the cool stuff, maybe I'll grow on you. And that's what the little differences in your personality people like, and they pick up, and then they feel a kinship. And then I always try and film stuff as though we're hanging out from my perspective. So when we're walking, people feel like they're there, and if they can't travel, they get to feel like they traveled. And to me, that's huge.
Most people won't get to go to the places they want to go to for whatever reason. Some people don't want to fly, they can't afford to fly, they're afraid to fly. Or drive, or they can't.
Or I always hear, we'll do it when we retire, and then you retire and you don't have the same drive to do all the walking uphill in Europe that you thought you. My grandpa's my biggest fan, and he's 92.
And he gets to watch you all the time.
That's when I first started. He said, I don't know what you're posting these videos, but I like them. You take me to a place I've never been, and I get to see what you're up to.
And me too. I mean, I do travel a lot, but not usually it's for business. So when I started watching your vlogs after we met, I was just thinking, oh, that's awesome. I'm never going to go there.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, but I just saw it all.
And that became my goal, was anywhere I ever dreamed of going, challenge myself to see if I can get there. I got to go to Malta and go to the Popeye village where they filmed Robin Williams' Popeye, and I was like a kid.
Oh my gosh.
To me, it was like I'm hearing the Harry Nilsson music over my head, and and it starts raining, and I go, this is all I ever wanted, was to be doing this with my life, just getting to experience real life.
And you love people.
I do.
Like me. And so, what a joy to be able to go places and meet new people. And
people, I've had some of the best experiences, met the nicest people in towns, and they'll just go, you're American? Oh, let me show you this. This is what we like. This is our favorite food. This is our, and they want you. They're so excited to share their culture with you, and they don't want money.
Yeah.
It's weird. Like they bring you a bill and it's 10 euros, and you're going, how is that possible? I've been here 2 hours. They just want you to enjoy the experience. And I always go, that's what you can't explain to someone that doesn't travel. When they go, I don't need to see anything else. You go, you really need to meet people that have a different perspective on life, because it makes you appreciate all of life around you. Like every person you meet or every place you go, there's something cool about it.
Oh, absolutely. And while we're talking, I'm watching, and I'm going to acknowledge some of our viewers, but because they're our family. I mean, our show has just hit a year, about a week ago.
Congrats.
And thank you. And so started it at COVID, so it was easy to remember the anniversary. And I wanted to come back to YouTube about when it first came out, and and people, I felt bad because I thought, oh man, this is going to be, this is going to be hard on. People are going to stop watching TV. I was concerned about that as an actor.
Well, and as knowing people on fixed incomes and stuff, the first thing to go is usually like cable sometimes. So they're going, hey, if YouTube is free, you might start, that's definitely a fear, I would have thought.
But the thing that made me happy about YouTube, eventually when I understood what it was, and Justin Bieber was discovered on YouTube by, I know that you're...
I can't remember the producer, but I know who you're...
No, it's an artist.
Oh, Usher.
Yes,
Usher.
There you go. Just was checking on... Oh, you're...
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. You know the answers. Usher found him on YouTube, and that's when I began to realize that it wasn't my enemy, that this was not the actor enemy, this was the actor's best friend.
It really is.
Because if you want to make an acting reel and put it on YouTube, you have a better chance of being discovered for not just acting, whatever you do. That's what I love about this.
Right.
And I realized that the playing field was completely leveled because of YouTube.
Totally.
You had a thought, it turned you on, you decided to do it, it's turning other people on.
And if people like it, I hate to, it's not political, but I just go like, when I see like people get their shows canceled, I go, gosh, if you were just on YouTube, your fans could have decided whether your show's canceled or not.
Right.
If they quit watching, it's canceled. If they keep watching, you're on. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
And I always think that to myself. People sometimes will comment really meaning the best, and they'll go, gosh, you should have a channel or have a show on Travel Channel. I go, but then I'd have a boss telling me where they think I should go, and I want to go,
where I want to go.
I want to go to the places other people don't go.
Right.
That to me makes it so, I'm listening to Todd's book on tape, and I'm sitting here going, Debbie's Meadow is now on my list of places to go. I have to go now.
Oh, in Uray, Colorado.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I go, I didn't know about it before, but that's why I live for doing this, because I always have a thirst for learning things, and the more I learn, the more I go, oh, okay, that became a new destination. And within a year, I usually get there if I put my mind to it.
Well, we have so the next time you go to the East Coast, the Northeast, because you're moving to the East Coast.
Yeah.
But you're still coming out here all the time.
Yeah,
right?
I'll be out here, yeah. I promise.
Okay.
$100 round trip tickets, I'll be out here.
I know. Let's see how long they last with gas
I
prices
know.
going up. But here's the thing. There's one of our viewers, his name is Frank Ferruccio. And we call him Ferruccio here. Didn't know him. Now we're great friends. We still haven't met in person, but it's like the power of...
Certainly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What we all get to use every day. And of course, it's not all good, meaning that
You can't be everything to everyone.
You can't be everything to everyone. So I love Facebook because I use it the way that I want to use it.
Yeah.
And I'm not a sensitive person, and I am, but I'm not. Not to, like haters and things like that.
Yeah.
Who cares? If you don't.
In the
yeah,
end,
I mean,
you
really.
living a good life trumps anything that anybody can ever say. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? You can't
absolutely.
fight having a great life.
But Frank Ferruccio has, I think he probably has he's probably got one of the largest personal Debbie Reynolds collections after us. But yes, but what he has, he has a great story. And, because he was, when he was a young boy, I don't even know what the word would be, because I love the word obsession when it's a magnificent obsession. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it can be good or it can be bad, just
Yeah.
like the word driven.
Yeah.
It can be good or it can be bad.
You're totally right.
But he had a passion for Jane Mansfield when he was really young. And then he just had this, as he grew up, he began to really care and felt like he knew her, and started collecting her things and became friends with her daughter. And,
Right.
And then, he wore a lot of hats and wears a lot of hats. So he decided he was going to make a documentary about her life.
Okay.
But it was not just documentary. It was with actors.
Okay.
So it's
Dramatizations as well.
yes, but he wrote a book about her.
Wow.
And he has Diamonds to Dust, which is also the docudrama, maybe you want to call it, but
Okay.
it's with actors and whatnot. But this is a project that was born out of love from a little boy to a grown man.
Yeah, it's amazing what.
And he goes to visit, her grave, which is not that far away from where he is. So he makes sure that, it has.
That's great.
Yeah, but he's a great guy. And if you're ever on the Northeast, I think he would be a
I would love
great
to.
interview for you.
I have a friend. He's the same way. He had a museum in Hollywood called Dearly Departed.
Yeah.
And his was like, he wanted to find last moments. Like, he has the Jane Mansfield death car. And he goes, look, I know some people, to them, they're like, why would you want to have some? He goes, that was her last moment. Like, that's history. To him, it's like
He owns it?
he owns it.
Oh
yeah.
my gosh, Frank, do you know
He
about
has
this?
the gate. He has Jane Mansfield's gate from the Pink Palace, the big white gate and everything.
Can you believe
And
that they took the Pink Palace down?
I hate to.
And I think
I just
Engelbert
all I'm gonna
Humperdinck
say is
bought it after
nothing in Hollywood going away surprises me anymore. There's a lack of respect for what built the town.
Yes.
And it's just, that's part of the reason I had to move. It's so hard to be in a town that I've been in for 21 years, looking at all these cool places, and then all of a sudden you go to see Buster Keaton's last house and it's gone.
You're right.
And you go, hey, where's that house that Clifton Webb used to get haunted all the time? You know, that they say his ghost, oh no, they tore that down. And you're going,
And where's that ghost supposed to go now?
That's what I said. That's what I said. I'm like,
where is that ghost supposed
is
to
he
go?
yeah, I was like,
just
did he move
wandering
down
the
to
Hollywood Hills.
move over to the cemetery and he's waiting for people there? I mean, it's just, I don't know, to me there's something so beautiful about going to Hollywood and seeing Gene Kelly's last house and going, that's like history. He walked out of that door every day.
Did you ever go to Valentino's, what's left
did.
of the
I
dance
did.
floor in the back?
Yeah.
And it's like, I went up there when I first moved to Los Angeles.
Are you talking about the hotel or up at the Falcon Lair?
Falcon Lair.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And there was just in the 70s when I moved to Los Angeles, there was like nothing left except this dance floor up in
Oh,
up there
wow.
off
Yeah.
of Laurel Canyon, I think it was.
Benedict.
Benedict
Yeah.
Canyon, yes. So it was just really, I've always loved history of all
Me
kinds,
too.
but Hollywood history, of course, is great, and our viewers love that too. Ryan, there's your if you look at there's your YouTube page. Days with Jordan the Lion, which we're going to talk about that because I love that name. Ryan, why don't you bring yourself in with us?
Hey, Kat.
Yes.
I am here.
I want to do a little sync restart, so just pause for 10 seconds.
Okay, we're going to do a sync restart. We're back. All right, let me just, hey, Ryan, are you there?
Hi, I'm here.
Hi.
Manning the ship.
He's
Manning part of the
manning
ship.
the ship. You're manning the whole ship tonight.
Manning
You're in
part
the
of the
you're
ship.
in the captain's seat for sure because this was a
No,
last
that's
minute
too much
thing.
responsibility.
I'm so happy you're here. I can't wait until you get here. He gets here Wednesday.
Great.
It seems
Yeah.
close, but it seems so far. There's so much to do between now and then.
I know, but fasten your seatbelt, buddy, because we're gonna have a great time.
We are.
All
And
right.
a lot to do there too.
I know. We're going to have fun. Let me just say hi to some folks. Michael Bollinger, hello. I must check out this vlog. He's adorable.
Oh,
How about
thank
that?
you.
There you go. Becky Bradley. Oh, yeah, she's one of your viewers, too.
Yeah, I know that name.
And Amy Perkins. All right. Nicole Johnson. David Cowan. Sippy. Oh, Sippy's here. Hello. Doing what you love as your work is the way to be happy in life. Amen.
Our friend Eric has a good phrase for it. He said, you found a way to make your lifestyle your job so that your job never feels like a job.
Oh, you know
Just
what?
the things you want to do is what
That's
you
actually
film.
better than anything I've ever heard.
Yeah, it like yesterday, he wanted to get a car wash, and I go, Jose Canseco has a car wash. Can I go vlog that? I will find any, to me it's like, oh, and then we get there and they're like, oh, Jose's having surgery or he would have been here. He's here every Thursday. And I go, how odd, I would have almost ran into, just that's the fun in doing this for me. You never know what'll happen
Exactly.
when you show up.
And this is just so great. Lisa Falls, hello there. Amy Perkins and Becky Bradley, Janet, Catherine Furman. Wow, there's people I haven't seen in a while here too. Seth Robichaud, he is just adorable. Oh my God, he's going to be coming to visit us after this whole thing is over. Scott Edmondson. Let's see, Ryan Clements, of course. I see you. Jody Brett. Okay, are we back in sync now? Are we good? Okay, good. My brother's here. Hello there. You come see me tonight. I miss you. Jane Reynolds, hello back at you. And I just saw something that people are going through a lot of different things, and I love when
yeah.
they tell us because and I'll come back to this because I just saw one of our viewers say that he went through something, and I got to see what it is. But Ryan, I think it would be fun to play. How about playing a couple-minute clip from your Liberace, when you visited the Liberace,
Yeah,
his
absolutely.
home here in Vegas?
Yeah, that was a blast.
Because that's an amazing thing. And so we're going to just show
in
a
so
couple
many
of minutes
ways.
so that you can see, you know, what the inside of his house looks like, and then we'll talk about getting there because it's fantastic. So let's go ahead and play that. There you go, Liberace's mansion. And what I love about this too is that I've never been
All right,
there,
we're
so
going
I
back
get
the
to
way
see
we
it.
came towards the player piano. And all of these columns he had imported from Greece. And as I mentioned earlier, the ceilings were inspired by the Palace of Versailles. This whole section was, and this is actually the connector, because this was one house when he bought it, and then this was a second house over there. He bought the two houses and connected them right here. So look at this. Isn't this amazing? I'm gonna try and slow it down a little bit here because there's so much stuff in here. I want you to be able to take in some of the beauty.
And that's his
Look at
piano
all that.
playing, right?
Isn't that incredible?
That was his player piano.
And remember what I said,
Yeah, the guy went out of
he
his
went
way
out
to
of
try
his
and find
way
things that
to
had
get as
originally been
much
there.
of the original stuff, track it down as he could. Now, if you've ever seen the opening for Liberace's show, they film him in a hot tub. That's actually this hot tub that we're gonna see. Look at this.
Wow, it's elaborate.
Where do you see that ceiling? Look at that skylight. Wow. So this is one of the rooms that when we toured, we immediately, just walking in here, and then what you'll see to the left, we said, hey, like he's in here with us. Something is just different. He's definitely here. But look at the muraling going all the way around the ceiling.
The original.
And wait till you see what's over here. So there's that tub. There's that hot tub. Believe it or not, he said for all the people that had kind of like broken into it while it wasn't really being used or anything, and the things that were stolen, he said the tub is original. So, but then look at the top.
All the hearts.
Yeah, that's good.
There's Lee Liberace right there. His face, his hands, the little cherubs above him with the piano. Isn't that amazing?
That to me, now that's right here in Las Vegas.
That is, yeah.
And at one point, I remember it going up for sale before this guy bought it to restore it to
been
exact.
sold a few times. They said basically what.
But it was for sale for a while. Honey, do you remember what that was? It was kind of like 800 or 600,000. It was like
They
not
kept
much.
changing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what the guy who bought it told me was he said, well, basically how he found it was somebody just told him about Behind the Candelabra. And they said, hey, go on YouTube and you'll be able to find movie clips. So he said, I went on there and then saw this video of someone going through the ruins of it as it's destroyed. And he said, I just saw this and I'm British and I thought, wait, that's a piece of history that should be saved. He said, I just couldn't believe that someone didn't care. So he said, I called the real estate agent and made an appointment to come the very next day. I flew from Mexico to view it. And he said, the agent didn't even walk through the house with me. He stood out on the front because so many people had just wanted to come looky-loo and had no intentions of buying it that he didn't think it was serious. And he said, I walked through it and said, okay, I'll take it. What do we do next? And the agent didn't even know what to do. He didn't expect it to be sold, And
Yeah.
he said, I just looked at it and said, this has to be saved. And he said, to me, it wasn't that much money for a piece of history like that. And I had heard about it for years. And I just randomly called them one day and said, "Hi, I have a travel vlog and I would like to come tour it. Is there, would that be possible?" And they said, if the owner's interested, we'll call you back. And they called me about 10 minutes later and said he'd really like for you to come. And then when I met him, he said he has a passion for helping promote the love of travel for people. And so when he saw what I did, he said, "I absolutely wanted you to come in here because I want people to get out and see the world too."
Right. And, did he restore that house?
He restored it.
I can't
And
imagine
he
what
said-
he spent doing that
he
because
said
it's so well done.
He found auction records and had found different pictures. He said actually when Liberace died, within a couple days, the house was completely photographed exactly as it was. So he at least knew what it was supposed to look like, and he just took time tracking down things that had been sold at auctions. And he said, and if I couldn't find the exact thing, I found as close to it as possible. And then that's why in that video, there's nothing in the bedroom, because he said, we haven't found anything from the bedroom available yet, so I'm not going to touch it until we have the right stuff.
I noticed that there was no bed in the bedroom.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was a museum, the Liberace Museum.
Yeah.
That was
That was
before all this happened
right.
to it, right? Before he restored
Yeah,
it.
as I understand it, the way it was told to me was basically it just kept changing hands with people thinking they could make money off of the museum.
Right.
And little by little, they were finding out that as people got older, they didn't know who Liberace was. And they said, they couldn't even get there was no reason to bring elementary schools for
Different location entirely. It was like literally just a walk-through museum. They had some Debbie costumes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he and Debbie were very close.
Yeah.
And behind the candelabra, Debbie played his mother.
Yeah.
And
I think he said they were just trying to get they were trying to make money giving tours around the house.
Yes.
And he said little by little, just nobody would come and people would buy the house and not make enough money to pay the mortgage. And that's what.
oh, so that's why it sold so many times.
It just felt,
Right.
That's what he said. So.
But what a great, the what he's done to it, just to restore it, not have it be something new, but look like it did when he owned it.
And he has purpose for it. He wants it to be an entertainment space for, as he was telling me, maybe people that aren't ready for the Strip yet to perform, but they could perform here and do a small show here, or weddings or things. He wants it to be used by people.
So he doesn't live in it.
No.
There's a caretaker that lives in it.
Yeah, he has his own house, and I believe he bought some of the properties around the house so that he shouldn't have a problem if he would decide to make it a full museum again. But it's technically a saved landmark and a museum. It's got all kinds of different designations that make it basically safe from anybody coming in and changing it what it is now.
Well, when they did the movie Behind the Candelabra,
Which was awesome.
wasn't it
Such
great?
If
you
you
haven't
great
seen
movie.
that, you have got to see it. It's
So
on
well acted.
HBO. HBO, what's it called? On demand. You
I loved hearing Debbie say when I heard they were making this, I had to play Frances because nobody could bring Frances to life the way I could. I knew her so well, and I go, that's perfect.
And she was great in that role.
Oh, boy.
But the hands for Michael Douglas's Liberace, it was actually Phil Fortenberry, who is a friend of mine,
Okay.
and the best pianist ever. I mean, really and truly.
Really?
Singing with him just at the piano feels like you're singing with an orchestra. That's how much he can fill a song with his two hands on a piano. And so they were his hands playing all of Liberace's music in Behind the Candelabra.
cool.
And he also played when it was the Liberace Museum. And he's a musician here in Las Vegas.
I got to go to the museum when it was open. And God, I loved it. I thought it was, I just can't believe something like that. And when I was there were people there. I just couldn't imagine that people weren't going. To me, Liberace's as much of Las Vegas as the Rat Pack or Elvis.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
And that I thought was what people were coming kind of to feel. I guess I understand the new Las Vegas feel and everything, but to me, there's got to be
well, the history of Las Vegas is so fantastic, and there's a show. I don't know when it'll open again because it's got quite a big cast, so I think they'll probably wait until it's at the David Sachs Theater here in Planet Hollywood in Las Vegas, and it was I'll think of the name in a minute because it's been closed for a year.
Yeah.
But it's about the history of Las Vegas.
That's
and
really
and so
cool.
the cast is all the headliners and, really great singers and dancers that are playing all these roles. And it's phenomenal,
I
for
wish
people.
I could have experienced those days. Just, I mean, the legendary performers when there weren't the restraints on what you could and couldn't say in the name of comedy or entertainment, just to just go, hey, let's go see Red Fox tonight. He's around, or Richard Pryor.
Oh, can
it's
you
like
imagine
Don Rickles.
Red Fox in today's political correct
No,
climate?
but
I
that's
mean,
what we're missing.
he-
It's
it
like
is,
comedy is
absolutely.
supposed to be like
You're,
over the
you
top.
really shouldn't be able to touch comedy or make comics feel uncomfortable.
To me, that's the
yeah.
one haven is like, I heard Patrice O'Neill say one time, he said, you can get mad and upset at a joke, but you can't get mad at me for taking the chance at a joke, because that's what jokes are. You're not going to make everybody laugh, but you can't take away my ability to try and
create. Yes,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
absolutely. And I miss headliners. I miss, when I would come here all my life, I came to Las Vegas for vacations all the time, and I miss headliners. Because everything is huge productions.
Yeah,
But
multiple people. And
and I just miss going. So when a headliner comes here, I always go see them because I miss that intimacy of a show.
Yeah.
I also love the big shows, don't get me wrong,
Right.
but I miss headliners because I actually would come out here just because someone was headlining.
Well, that's what I always hear. When Elvis came to town, they said everybody knew because the town came alive for that 6 weeks or however long, 4 weeks he was going to be here.
And that is the one person I haven't met, and of course we'll never meet now. But it was that's why going to Graceland was so fun. And I know you did a
love it.
vlog on Graceland.
Oh, I've been there so many times. I
and
love it.
I had a chance to go see his show in the 70s, and then I was at a table gambling. I love roulette. I don't really gamble that much, but that's my favorite. And somebody next to me just shoved a bunch of chips in front of me, and I had an Elvis ticket. I was like, thousands of dollars to play with, just shoved them over and walked away. He won big, shoved a bunch of chips in front of me.
And have fun with my
And I'm
tip.
looking at the Elvis chips. Elvis, chance at winning. Elvis, yeah, I'll come back and see
Did you ever
Elvis.
think
So I
hey, I'll
never
just pick
saw
up
him.
the chips and go to the Elvis show?
There were too many.
Oh, wow.
Sorry for that coughing and friends.
Oh.
I have it's dry in here. Listen, every
The
time
pollen's been blowing around.
pollen out here is
big
insane
time.
right now. Speaking of Elvis,
Yes.
Ryan, do we have anything from the Elvis collection of?
We do. We have a little bit here of the Westgate. I will share that.
All right.
But what is called the Tuscany room was actually the Elvis room. It's now been completely renovated. It's a 14,000 square foot villa. When Elvis was here, it was 5,000. But they were telling me that Priscilla has been here since it's been redone, and she verified where Elvis would have slept. And it would have been right here. This would have been his bedroom at the time. His bed, the head of his bed would have been where the fireplace is. It is quite a place. Now at the time they were telling me that right over here there would have actually been a hallway that went all the way down through there, and it would have had 5 different bedrooms for his guests and the Memphis Mafia. But in Ginger's book, she talks a lot about being here and how Elvis would just on a whim decide he wanted to go to Vegas, and he would, he liked to stay up late and go to concerts, see other performers around here, and then sleep most of the day. But they were also telling me that a lot of the people that work here or have worked here over the years that were here when Elvis was here said that he used to go and hang out behind the stage in the theater down there, and then invite like crew to come up here and hang out and eat with them. So this would have all been Elvis's bedroom and his suite, and it would have extended over here to pretty much where this second set of columns is. It would have pretty much ended right there. Isn't this amazing? This generally goes for about $12,000 to $15,000 a night, this suite now. Yeah. It's like, I mean, it's like 6 apartments.
Now I'm going to show you something they
space
found
in
in their
there.
files.
So look at all of these different telegrams and different things that they have from the original openings. I found a couple in here that were really interesting. So look at some of the names on there. Petula Clark, Buck Owens, Pat Boone, Jackie Gale. Now this actually might be my favorite one, because this one is inviting Charlie Pride, Hank Snow, and Ernest Tubb to the first show. And if you know, I got to go vlog and stay at Hank Snow's house and got to talk about how Elvis used to hang out there all the time. You can see here, Elvis in the International Hotel, take great pleasure in inviting you to the opening show, July 31st, 1969. This one's pretty interesting. It says, Sylvia Norris, the lady photographer who sells as well or better than any other camera carrier in town, wishes to cover both Miss Streisand's closing and Elvis's opening. Therefore, just a reminder that you agreed to comp room only for her the night of July 30th, my birthday. This looks like this might have been a notation of how many guest seats they were giving out, because you can see it says RCA has 40, 20 for the casino, 75 for the hotel, 8 for Colonel Parker. So even though the Elvis suite would have ended right here, I'm going to show you what it looks like now. You get your own private pool. You never got to see Elvis live then? That's one of my, that would have been one I would have loved. They said,
Now let's go into the
"Oh,
first
it's not good.
bedroom in here."
We let like
Actually, that might not
social
be a
me- big
bedroom.
name social
We have a
media
lot
people
to
sleep
see.
in it and stay in there and everything, so that's why they
No, it
let
is a
me do all
bedroom.
this.
Each room has its own feel, its own vibe.
How many rooms?
Look at the
There was
chairs.
like five
They
different
all have
rooms in
lion
there,
heads.
and they all had a living room with a fireplace and all that stuff.
These closets just never end.
How often did they say how often it rents out?
They said it, well, when they let me in there, they're like, we have to let you in today because it was booked every day before and every day after.
Oh my
And that was
gosh.
Super Bowl weekend, so. I just can't imagine paying like that kind of money to sleep for one night.
I know, but obviously there are people out there that that do it. I mean,
one of the reasons they said they renovated it was because they said, most of our high rollers that stay here are Asian or from Europe, and we wanted to make something that was more modern for their taste. So that's why the 3 villas up there all have like a different feel.
But you were looking at documents, so where do they keep those?
That was they had found those in their offices.
Yeah.
They have a room there that, God, I wish somebody would get hired to work in there, and it's all just leftover stuff from the international days, paperwork and photos and
They have all that.
yeah, and it's just all in a room. And yeah, they had looked through and found those, and since I was big Elvis guy. He's like, well, I thought maybe you'd like to check those out. And I'm like, oh, I love this stuff. I mean,
Oh, that's great.
I live for seeing those little documents and stuff like that. And like I said in there, I was like, oh, I've been to Hank Snow's house. I've stayed there. So like that's even cooler to see he was on the invite list.
Okay, so we're gonna we have a lot of people here. First of all, Frank Foduccio, he just texted me just now, and he said to let you know that he knows Michael that has Jane Mansfield's car and the gate.
Oh, Scott.
Scott.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Scott Michaels.
Scott Michaels. He knows him, and in fact, he sold him the gate and the car.
Oh, okay.
To make the money to raise the money to make his movie.
That's very cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's very see. That's one of the things I love too. Is look at that. Like one person was able to make another dream by letting that stuff go the same way Debbie did, and now someone who loves this stuff in another way finds a home and finds a way to preserve it so that people can learn from it in the future.
Right, and it really is incredible. But he has watched your vlog for a long time.
Oh,
He wanted
cool.
you to
Thank
know.
you.
So, and he's telling everybody how great it is.
Oh, thank you.
So when you go and you go to these old places, like when I was in the beginning, when I was talking about recreating the picture of Debbie and Eddie
Yeah,
with
absolutely.
Todd, and I mean there was paranormal activity, no doubt about it. I mean, no doubt about it in that hotel. And I was working, so I really would come back there to sleep at night. Otherwise,
You'd investigate it all day.
I will be there again this August in West Virginia. It's up in the Smoky Mountains where this hotel is. You have to see it.
Oh, I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
When I heard
You-
Gone with the Wind chandeliers are there, I have to see.
And not only that, just the people who have stayed there, and it was built in was it the 1700s, I think, Civil War.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's a great place for you to see. So
Yeah,
come in August while I'm
I
there.
will.
Yeah.
I will. Count me in.
I'll be there for 10 days. So
I would love
yeah.
to.
So I have to say that I hope I will be anyway, because we don't know yet.
Think positive.
Yeah, okay,
Think
I
positive.
always try to keep my mind in the positivo
Yep.
position. But it's so interesting when you go. I noticed that on your vlog, you've got how many vlogs do you have up there now?
I'm about 1,500 right now.
At 1,500.
Yeah.
So obviously you have gone to where people live
I've
their
went-
last days, and
That was my bucket list vlog when I started this was I want to stay in the room Oscar Wilde died in. I just love Oscar Wilde's writing. I think he had such a tragic life, and then studying on Jim Morrison, knowing that before Jim Morrison passed, he was actually staying in someone else's apartment, and that person needed their apartment back. So he and Pamela had went and stayed in that same room. That was the last place before he went back that he had stayed. So it was really expensive. But I just said some things in life you just have to. It's something like you just have to do it for yourself. And I went in there, and that was one of the weirdest.
I want to know if you've ever felt the presence of
that one.
a ghostly presence.
That one I did, and I'll tell you why. Because I'm a huge Oscar Wilde fan, big Jim Morrison fan, but I also loved Anthony Bourdain, and he was a big inspiration for me wanting to do things like this. And when I was staying in the room, I was like, wait a minute, he stayed here before too. He stayed there on No Reservations #1. And in
tell
my
me,
room,
where is there?
It's Le Hotel in Paris.
Okay.
And it was, it's unbelievable because you get like a private pool and all this stuff to use. And when I'm checking in, I walk over while I'm waiting, and I'm looking, and I see like a picture of Johnny Depp and Keanu Reeves, and Mick Jagger, and the guy who's checking me in comes over and he says, all those people are people that have stayed in your room. And I was like, wow, to me that's being in that room. And I was there for Bastille Day. Mm-hmm. So I actually checked in, got to hang out in the room for hours. Then I went and watched the fireworks right at the Eiffel Tower and came back. And I felt like there was those, I don't know who, but you could feel someone in there. And then when I posted the video, a lot of comments are like, every time when you pointed at this lamp and mentioned Oscar Wilde, the lamp flickered. When you're filming it, you don't notice it, but then you go back and look and you go, I knew I was feeling something.
And electricity is, it could be just something electrical, but it also could be, some
Sure.
the way that people come through is often by electricity
And
and controlling it.
I almost feel like if you're thinking enough about someone, it's almost like summoning,
Well, it's electrical right there. It's
Right.
an energy of the same kind of power, really that electricity has.
Yeah, and I
And-
read his poem. I was in there and I was like, I have to read this, this section of this poem, the Ballad of Red and Gold, and then just kind of made it so that that room knew, hey, I'm here to celebrate your life, and I almost feel like he was in there going, all right, let's have fun tonight, like, just I had
I'm
all kinds of
here.
I had like such a calm, great night, and I don't always have a great sleeping experience in hotels,
So have you ever had, without a doubt, paranormal activity in any of these places you've traveled to and that had a history?
I mean, I think the one that the first thing that comes to mind is going to what's the boat in Long Beach?
Oh, the Queen Mary.
Queen Mary.
Yes.
Oh my gosh! You
Did
go
you-
down the boiler room, and I was told somebody died in here, and there's knocking, and you'd knock on this thing, and then about 3-4 seconds later, you'd hear another couple of knocks, and it happens. We filmed probably 12 or 13 different times of doing that.
Where is the Queen Mary now? Is it still in
It's
Long
still
Beach?
there. Yeah, it's still there.
And the Spruce Goose was next to
What?
it.
Yeah,
That was
I think that's up in
spectacular.
Portland or
Yeah.
something now. But yeah, I never got to see that. That's on my list of things to see.
Oh my
too.
gosh, you
I
have
want
to
to see that.
It's startling.
Yeah,
it
I can
really
imagine.
is.
What a pioneering.
So you
masterpiece.
definitely felt the zuzza at the Queen Mary.
That one for sure. In that one, another one that was really eerie to me was I went to Seattle and I wanted to make a video on the last days of Kurt Cobain, from the moment that he basically bought his gun and everything that happened after that. So part of that experience was staying in. There was a kind of a flea bag motel that at the time that he always had one room that he always went, and he would buy his drugs on this street, and then he would go there and hole up, because they said, for one thing, he never felt at home in a rich house, like a fancy house, because that wasn't who he was. So he would go stay in this place for like a week at a time. So I rented the room for a week.
Oh my gosh.
And out of nowhere, they got an uncharacteristic snowstorm that shut down the city for days. I got stuck in that room. Like, I couldn't even go vlog. You couldn't drive your car a block without it sliding.
So it's just you and Kurt.
And here's the crazy thing. I would be in there and I'd be looking. I totally get why he, the windows, you could see it. I mean, it was like a paranoia dream. You had windows, but nobody knew you were there. And I'm filming inside, showing people. And sure enough, there's like, people are seeing orbs all over the video. Like he's there. It's almost. I always say, I'm like, I feel like if you're talking positively, you do kind of like bring the energy. You kind of summon that energy to you.
I will when I get orbs, especially on a cell phone, because it's not usual.
Right.
Because I'm not using a flash, and of course when I get certain orbs and I'm pictures from my phone and I don't use flash, I'll take it to Todd and I'll say, what could this be? Because he's the
rationale.
Well,
Yeah.
and he also knows what causes these kind of things
Right.
to happen in a photograph. But then I just had an experience. Oh gosh, I don't know if Letty is here tonight, but Letty was with me, and we went into Debbie's room because right after a show. So Debbie's room is very close to the theater, and I went over there. And it was before. Actually, I met you, and I broke my shoulder a week later.
Right after.
Yeah. So it was before. So it must have been around the time that you were here.
Okay.
And so we went in her room because I wanted to change really quick and this and that. And she's like, oh, you look so pretty there. I was standing in her bedroom and she said, and so she started taking pictures of me. And she said, don't move, because this is just a beautiful picture with everything behind you. Snap. And then we started to look through the pictures, and there was a blue light, this like little bright blue, but it was faded a little bit, but it was a very pretty blue. And it was there, and so she was looking at all the pictures she had just taken of me, and the light was moving in the picture. And so I said, oh my God, right? So I was standing there still. She came over to show it to me. She said, "What is that?" I said, "I don't know." So then I said, "Take another picture." Of course, I always acknowledge when I think she's,
Yeah.
because Debbie really loved this stuff.
Oh,
I mean,
I believe it. Yeah.
I mean, she loved this stuff. You know, she just, and she had prophetic dreams. She was a very remarkable woman in many ways that people didn't know for her. You know, it wasn't just that she was an incredible movie star and icon. She had crazy gifts and skills. You know, it was incredible. So when I went back, I said, "Okay, Debbie, if that's you, come back and be in the picture," right? And so that next picture is the blue light in my hand.
No kidding.
I am not kidding. And then
Wow.
I went into the bathroom, and Letty was following me, and I didn't know she was taking pictures, and the blue light is in the dark in the picture. And so, you know, it's all interesting, you know.
It is.
And because we're always saying, is there anything after this besides of course,
Well-
I mean, I believe, you know, in heaven and
Yeah.
and all that, of course, you
And
know.
well, you know, I was just texting you. I was telling you I was vlogging defending your life, and that concept of that movie, I just love it. Like, what happens after you die?
Your life is in review.
Yeah, and
you're
you
like,
have to
oh, not my
justify-
best moment.
Yeah, and you have to find a way to justify what you did in life. I think that's so interesting. Do you think that because I know you've had a lot of paranormal experience.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think are you looking for them, or do
Oh,
you
no.
happen to notice them?
I don't think that it's I don't know how great it is to go. I used to, you know, go ghost hunting, you know, when I would travel, especially if I was at somewhere like West Virginia, where up there, there's graveyards from the Civil War.
Right.
And then there's a like a graveyard there were so many bodies from that war, and they didn't even have time to. So they just took them all and put them in a giant grave, and buried them. You know what I mean? Like, there's all kinds of history there.
Have you been to the catacombs? Did you feel that's when I would be curious. The Paris catacombs, all the
No, I haven't.
I would be curious what you would feel in there. Or
Well, you know, I used to go at midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning, and the crew and I would go, and we'd go visit if there was an old cemetery that had a lot of history like
Yeah.
that. But I don't think it's a good idea.
yeah,
I don't think it's good to invite that stuff.
I agree.
And so so I used to do that, you know, just for fun, and then I don't know. I just thought I don't really want to be visited by
I feel
ghosts.
like I'm more of a skeptic.
Yeah.
I always go into it like, people always go, "Did you feel anything haunted there?" I go, "No," but like all the people that always like the ghost hunter shows, they will.
Yeah.
You know, I'm more of a skeptic. So when I feel something, that's when I'm like, okay, that's when I tell people. Like one of the ones that I stand by this one forever is Joshua Tree Inn. Graham Parsons passed away in room 8 there. I stayed there years ago, and there was a white cat walking the premises. I didn't think anything of it.
Right.
And it was my birthday. I was staying in the death room, probably morbid or whatever. But I took my guitar, and I start playing a Graham song on my guitar, and that cat pushes the door open.
Yes.
Just walks.
In your room.
Just walks right into my room, and I'm playing it, you know. Couple hours later, I come back from going out to Joshua Tree hiking and stuff, and I start playing again. The cat pushes my door open again. I go up to the front desk and I said, "Do you guys have a white cat that walks around here?" And they go, "Well, a lot of people believe it's Graham's ghost." And I said, "Really?" They said, "The cat's name's Sky, has one yellow eye and one blue eye." And I said, "Well, every time and she goes, "Play a song by Graham comes in your room." And I said, "Yeah." She goes, "Yeah, Sky always does that."
Wow.
So then all of a sudden I come back, like maybe 2 or 3 years later, and I go, "Hey, what happened to Sky?" And they go, "Oh, we had some people that were allergic, so we just realized that we couldn't keep Sky here." And I've stayed in that room since then. It just doesn't feel like he's there to me anymore.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I don't invite the experience, but what I do feel is when we walk into somewhere and there's something there. I feel it. I get the goosebumps on
Me
the
too.
goosebumps. And then
that was the Liberace mansion. We would go into
Yeah.
like the dining room,
yeah,
and we just all looked at each other and we're like, it feels like he's here. You
Right.
know, and then you find out, oh, well, Liberace loved to throw dinner parties and cook, and it's, you know, no surprise that you would feel. And the guy who owns it actually said, we don't allow smoking here. Nobody that works here smokes. We don't allow smoking. We'll walk in a room and smell a burning cigarette
oh,
with no explanation.
okay, so Debbie didn't smoke, but she had these little Virginia Slims, I think they were called. Or they also made little cigarettes. Capri was another
Yeah,
one.
Capri, yeah.
Yeah, and so I don't know why, but she would every now and then sit and puff. Never saw her inhale, ever. But you know, every once in a while, like hardly ever. But she would come home from doing a show, and she would sit and puff on this little tiny cigarette, right? It was. I never saw her. Oh, she learned how to smoke for
That's
Mary
great.
Mary. Never smoked before that, and I never saw her inhale. But puff. She would enjoy her little puff.
Yeah.
Well, I think I only saw her smoke in her room in the front part of the living room. You know, it's just a living room and a big giant bedroom,
Yeah.
as you've seen.
Yeah.
And she just was very cute when she did it, and I knew that it meant she was in a good place. She liked, you know, when
Just chilling out.
she
Yeah.
chilling out, right? So I walked in. Never without a glass of Behringer, right? Okay. So then, and if you happened to be there, you had to stay up with her until it was time for her to go to bed, which was often like 4 or 5 in the morning.
Of course. Insomniac, probably.
Well, entertainers do stay up all night, and then they sleep a lot in the day.
Yeah.
And so when we built that room for her, she didn't want any windows in it.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And like Elvis used to put,
Black out the windows. Yeah.
but he used when he would travel. They would go in advance and put tinfoil on the windows because they don't want any light in their room. So I guess about a year ago, I went in there. And I said, who has been smoking in this room? I was furious because, you know, once you smoke in a room, you can't get it out.
Yeah,
You can now with ionizers, but
Right,
still.
but for a while it was
Yeah.
stuck in the cushions.
Yes.
And, yeah.
Curtains. I was furious. I went, and nobody here smokes.
Yeah.
And I was going around going, did you smoke? I don't smoke. Did you smoke in there? No, I don't smoke. There was nobody that could have done it. And it was there, and I think, Todd, you might have been out of town, but you remember I texted you about it. I said, Debbie's room smells like smoke. And it was because, you know, there was just no explanation
I
for it.
agree. That's when I buy in. That's why I say when people are like, did you go here? Everybody says it's haunted. I go, I didn't feel anything. I've been to everywhere that people say is haunted. I've been to. I don't feel it. But the ones that they
There's
don't
so
say are
many
haunted, I go
places.
to. You know.
Right. There's so many amazing places of history, but especially in West Virginia, where I'll be in August and where you might come.
Absolutely.
Because it was, you know, that there and Delaware is where I felt so much electricity. You know,
What
there.
did you feel about Savannah?
I've never been to Savannah.
Oh, you haven't?
No,
I was
I
just
want to
there.
go.
Okay.
Yeah, but you know, it's Savannah, Georgia is just a hotbed of that kind of stuff.
They say it's supposedly the most haunted
Yeah, but
city in.
I do think that Lewisburg, West Virginia, which is just an incredible little town. There's a hotel that has been it's small, called the General. Was it called the General Lewis Inn?
Okay.
Okay, and I always go there for dinner when I'm there, and it's haunted as all get out, that hotel. I mean, when I tell you, you walk in and it's like, wow. But it's because it's so small, like the bigger hotel that we're talking about earlier.
Right.
You expect, you know, I mean, it's just so massive. But this is a small hotel that has been there also since the 1800s, and many people. I mean, people go there because it's haunted.
Yeah.
And the staff in the restaurant, you know, they don't talk about it, but if you ask, they will.
Now, I worked at a restaurant
Mm-hmm.
in West Hollywood. It was actually right catty corner to Formosa Cafe. And one day they were saying, you know, they always say our restaurant's haunted. Mm-hmm. And then one day a girl goes to the stockroom, comes back, I mean, white as a ghost, And she says, I think there's a ghost in there. So they actually, like, a couple of us go in the room, and the manager brings up the security footage, and we watch her walk down a little, like, stock room, and an entire case, not a bottle, but a case of Heinz ketchup in glass bottles jumps off the rack that it's on onto the floor and shatters. She's 3 or 4 feet in front of it, and you just see her, like, stiff like that, and you can see her go and runs out of the room. And I'm like, I got to get a copy. He goes, absolutely not. The owner would never go for this getting out. But we saw it with our own 2 eyes. That this case literally jumped. There couldn't have been bumped. You couldn't have knocked this off even bumping it.
Well, the studio where One Life to Live was filmed, or taped, I should say, that was definitely haunted. The offices upstairs.
Really?
Oh, yes.
What did you? How could you tell?
And the basement too. Well, I was there for so many years, and the basement just had a feel to it, and then I found out that the Irish immigrants, that's where they were held.
Oh.
And so that basement.
Yeah.
But upstairs in the office is where people that worked up there actually would be at the copy machine, and they would feel somebody there and see somebody there out of the corner of their eye, but they're working, and then poof, that person would go. And this happened, just disappear. This happened to a lot of people I knew that worked up there. It was just kind of an unspoken thing, but I mean, the building now is it's been completely ripped apart and redone. It's ESPN is in there now.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, it was, I just don't know what happens. But anyway, it was all very interesting.
I used to hang out at the Comedy Store a lot. That's a place that everybody has always believed is haunted, and because it used to be Ciro's, way back when, and
I did not know that.
That was Ciro's, and you go up to the belly room, and you can there's literally photos of Sinatra sitting in the booth that's up there, and I talk to people there, and they go, "Oh, this place is haunted." And then one day I go, "How do you guys know it's haunted?" They said, "Mitzi Shore, the owner, knows the ghost, says his name's Gus." And what they said was that her father asked Gus to look over her. And so, like, they said all of a sudden she'd be doing something, and she'd go, "Gus, knock it off!" And that nobody would hear anything. And she'd go, "He's playing that damn music again." And he would, like, she could hear, like, some sort of, like...
Was she the only one that could hear it?
No, other people would say, like, well, you'd look over and you'd, like, you'd all of a sudden see an apparition.
Yeah.
And you go, "Mitzi, there's somebody in there," and it was during closed hours, and she'd go, "That's just Gus. Is he wearing a hat and smoking a cigarette?" And describe him. They'd say, "Yeah, she'd go, "That's just Gus. Don't worry about him."
There's something like that at the El Portal Theater in Los Angeles, which...
Oh, the Debbie Reynolds Theater, isn't it?
Well, there's 2 or 3 stages in there, but the big theater was renamed the Debbie Reynolds... what was it? The Debbie Reynolds... stage. Yeah.
Okay.
And so, I performed there a couple of times, but
What a historic place that was. That's
and
so
there's
cool.
a ghost that's in the actually it's the Todd. Is it the Todd Fisher sound booth? Yeah. So they named the sound booth.
It could be any.
After Todd. But many people that have come in there to work their shows. It's a 400-seat theater. It's just beautiful. And the ghost comes with the dinner there. They know he's going to be there, or she, or I
wonder if it's Donald O'Connor. That was, if I'm not mistaken, that was where he performed when he was a little kid with his family.
It was a movie theater.
Right.
And then after that, it became a theater. So I don't know what the years of that were, but I was like, really? I remember thinking, because I was on stage and I was looking back at the sound booth, and I was always looking through the window to see if I could see the ghost. But anyway, so now Jordan.
Yes.
Ryan has your YouTube site there. Look at it all. He's got that, and there's your 1,400 or 1,500 different vlogs.
That's when I was at Jerry Lee Lewis's house.
Yes.
They gave me some gun shells to take with me for the
road. Oh my God! How
They're
thoughtful.
like, "This is where Jerry stands to shoot his gun." There's a bunch of shells on the ground. I'm like, can't help but take those.
Oh, that's so great. So again, it's Daze, Daze.
Yeah.
With Jordan the Lion.
Mm-hmm.
Now, where'd you come up with the lion?
That was my Twitter handle when I started Twitter.
Yeah.
I didn't want to use my last name, and I liked a band at the time that was called Pedro the Lion, and the guy had become born again and decided to just go by his name and got rid of the name. So when I started my Twitter, I said, well, I'm a Leo. I'll just be Jordan the Lion, and then that'll be it. And so when I started my channel, that's just, I'll just be Jordan the Lion because it's probably better than using my last name for, many reasons. And it also leaves, the moniker open to have lions, and I love lions in general.
Well, I'll just have you know that Debbie, we'd have some really deep talks in the middle of the night because I'm a night owl and so was she. So we would sit up and have great life talks. And I would be like this because she had so
I
much
bet.
wisdom.
I can only, she's seen it all.
I would sit at her feet for stories, but I would lay in bed with her and we would just watch TV and talk a lot. And so I said, Mom, how did you survive some of these people that were in your life and just fleeced you and
leeches,
and you had to start over again at this age and this age and this age. And I said, how did you not just fold? And she said, you know what? Sometimes you just have to be a lion and face things. And I'll never forget that because I thought, yeah, I'm a lion. I can face things. But, she was basically saying you meet head on.
Yeah.
Whatever is coming at you, you don't run away from it because then you're being chased.
Yeah, you're living in fear.
Yeah, and so you just face whatever it is. Just face it. And be okay with the fact that you might not be able to change it, but you can change the way you are reacting to it or looking at it.
Well, think of how many great talents we never heard of because they were afraid to get on a stage and perform.
Right.
Probably the best shower singers you ever, somebody that trumps even Frank's. I remember my parents when I was a kid saying, no matter how good someone is, there's always someone better. Like, I remember them saying, even Michael Jordan, there's somebody out there better than Michael Jordan that you haven't heard of or seen. And I always thought when I started my YouTube, that was how I always looked at it. I go, I'm not in competition with anybody. I don't need to be like better than this person or this person. I just got to do what I want to do. And if people are watching, that's the success. And nobody's going to do it for me because I already tried to audition and stuff. And that wasn't where God wanted me to go.
Yeah,
and
it wasn't your
clearly
destiny.
it wasn't working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's easier to let go of something when you really realize that it's just not my destiny.
Totally.
And
if you have nothing to lose, even better. Like for me, it was like I was already living paycheck to paycheck. I didn't have anywhere to go. Really, it was like
didn't have anything to lose.
Yeah, it was like I wasn't ahead of anything.
This is your sole job.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Annie Pennington, who is beautiful. Do you know who she is?
I don't
Okay.
think.
She she's having another conversation with somebody in the room. Annie Pennington, you dated Elvis in 1973?
Ooh.
We got some talking to do.
Yeah.
That's right. But I can totally see she's beautiful. Long blonde hair, blue eyes, very beautiful.
Probably
girl.
looked like Linda.
Yeah, Linda Tom. Well, I my first professional job was on Hee Haw.
I did not know that.
Yes.
How freaking cool.
And we were doing...
That doesn't surprise me. They had like the most beautiful women on TV back then.
Oh, yeah, they had us pushed up and round them up. And and herd them out. That's what we used to say. We got to round them up and herd them out because, it was just, it was all about the, Well, I was doing a show called the Hee Haw Honeys. It was a pilot. And so they put us on Hee Haw for I don't know how many episodes before the pilot launched.
Right.
And so I was there, and Linda Thompson was on it. And what an awesome woman she is.
I tried to meet her, and where she was supposed to be, she ended up not being there that day. But I want to meet her so bad. They said she was a huge influence on how Graceland was decorated.
Yeah.
Like the peacocks and things were something that she and Elvis came up with together.
Yeah, very special lady. And she...
and she still loves to talk. Some people move on. She loves to talk about Elvis.
Well,
that's such
it was a big part of her life.
Yeah.
He was a huge part of her life. I mean, she grew up with him because, she was a young woman.
Yeah.
And she literally grew up with Elvis next to him. And I think if they had stayed together, I don't think he would have died. I don't
Yeah.
think she ever left him alone for a minute. She understood the care and feeding of Elvis Presley. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
yeah.
this was not a normal person. He
Yeah.
was, So I'm pretty sure he'd still be alive if they had stayed together. And we were doing Hee Haw, and Elvis had died. So that's the year that I was there.
Wow.
And Vernon Presley came to the studio to see her.
Oh, that's so cool.
And I was there that day, and I was watching from afar. And I remember thinking how frail and fragile and sad that he looked. He aged
His life was Elvis.
his whole life.
His whole life.
And, he came to give her respect. And
That's really cool.
yeah, and I felt really honored to be a witness to that.
I get, it says a lot about who Elvis was and who brought him up, because you don't hear, I don't think I've ever heard somebody say, I met Elvis and he was a jerk.
No.
Or you just don't find, in fact, what they shared with me at the Westgate was they said, one of the people that just retired was here when Elvis was here, and they said, there was a time where he was coming in with his entourage, and his entourage bumped into one of our staff members, team members, and knocked her over. And Elvis saw it and said, "Hey, you be more careful when you walk through. You don't bump into a woman." And they said, that woman said, "I never saw that guy again."
Yeah. I mean,
Like he just was. Maybe Elvis just said, "All right, you're not part of the Vegas Mafia anymore. You
You're
go back
fired."
go back to Memphis." So. But
Well,
they said that he noticed everything. They said he knew what fans were up to. He cared. They said the reason they used to escort him out through the kitchen was if you let Elvis sign autographs, he'd never leave. He would sign every autograph until people were stop asking.
that's a good celebrity.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, that's really great. So I want you to stay. Ryan, are you out? Are you there? Can you come back? I miss you. He's going to come here.
I'm here.
Yay! Okay. Do you like this show, Ryan?
Love it.
Isn't
People
it?
love it. It's
I
great.
am telling you, I me too. But I asked Jordan to stay to give away stuff because this
Oh,
is
that's the most fun, right? People get free stuff.
yeah, people get free stuff.
That's always fun.
And so tonight we're going to do this, and we're not going to use the wheel the way we use that wheel from the 1800s that was Carrie's, because Ryan found something. So if you're in the room right now, when you walked in the room, your name was recorded. Ryan put you in what we call the name generator. And so everybody that's here has been added to the name generator, which I think is really great because you didn't even know. Some of you were here for the first time. Maybe you're Jordan's viewers. But so you have a chance to win something tonight, all of you. So the name generator is up. I see the list of names there. And by the way,
Ready to go?
everybody, Liz Cochran is here helping me tonight. I'm so glad you moved to Vegas. Me too. Yeah. Your girlfriend, Jordan?
Huh? Yeah.
Oh,
Isn't
man.
she the sweetest?
And not only that,
She's a beauty.
yeah, good going. Did you have to kiss a lot of frogs to get your princess?
I did.
Yeah, don't we all?
In fact, I always say, I feel like every person that I met, like, it was just leading up to her. You know, I learned a lot of lessons along the way.
Before we give stuff away, that's such an excellent thing because, that is so true.
Especially with me, because my lifestyle is not for everybody.
No, and you travel.
I do.
And she,
and you have to like to meet
doesn't torture
random,
you over it.
Yeah, you have to like to meet random people and see new things and be on the go. And she's up early and she likes to be out doing stuff, and I like to be out doing stuff.
And she loves animals, and she's from the Midwest, and she is
she's
she's
perfect.
beautiful and wonderful and beautiful outside and in. So
is.
good,
She's
good on
awesome.
you guys. You found each other. Come on up here and let her know. She says no. And you want to know something? I don't like to do that to people unless they want to do it.
Unfortunately, one of the downsides to YouTube is that you do get people that don't like that you're enjoying your life and that they want to inflict torture on you. So I just feel like I've learned along the way, if there's anybody to accept the abuse, it should be me.
You.
Because
You know
it's
what?
my name
That
and
is
not the
so
innocent person.
Yeah, that is true.
So
Especially because she seems like a very tender-hearted person.
I think actually she could handle it, but it's just one of those things, why rock the boat when it's so
Yeah,
good, you know?
exactly. Well, it is true that we have all of the experiences, the good and the bad, but there's just so many. We all have to, unless you've been married to your high school sweetheart and you're still married and, you know, and everything, you're going to kiss frogs to meet your princess and
you
prince.
do. And I think a big part of it is
To make you
seeing
feel gratitude for
what-
this wonderful person.
yeah, because to me, I was always like, you know, I had grandparents that were ideal husband and wife.
Right.
And I always just was like, oh, wow, this is possible. It's possible to
I've
find
seen it.
two people that get along and don't dislike each other, and they like to do stuff together. And yeah, I have more fun with her doing things. And,
Yeah.
you know, today we've been on the go all day doing things. And I'll occasionally look over and go, are you bored yet? And she goes, are you kidding? I love this. Like, she's great.
And that is great because there are some people
And
out
she
there that
wants
would
to see, she
Yeah.
wants to see the things that she hasn't got to see yet. She's never been to Europe.
She,
and I'm
I
like,
got to
wanna
meet her
take
for the
you.
first time tonight. I was very excited. I was just
Yeah.
looking at all your pictures of her you had, and she's more beautiful than her pictures, which is what
I think so too.
see. Okay, now we're gonna give stuff away. Ryan, are you ready to give stuff away?
I'm always ready to give stuff
Liz,
away.
are you ready
Just
to
not
hand me the prizes we're about to give away? So if you're here, do not leave, because if you are not here when your name is generated, then we go on to the next one.
And you know what? Everybody that's watching, just so you know, this is not a. Every time I've been to visit, I leave with something. Kat or Todd send me home with something really amazing. So it's not just you guys.
Oh, it's
They're
fun.
generous in general.
Kathy Gann says, I don't like that Ouija board. It freaks me out just to see it. Here's my advice. Don't go near one. Don't have one in your house. Don't let your kids have one in the house. I just think that is the worst.
Angel board. You ever heard of an angel board?
No.
Okay, an angel board is very similar to a Ouija board, but it's blessed by a priest, and they believe that you can contact in a positive way.
Yeah, but you see, the problem with doing that kind of conjuring and stuff is that you don't know what.
I agree.
So just don't
But
do it.
I never had heard of one. I had never heard. I was at
Well, it's just someone-
I was invited to a seance.
Yeah.
And I was like, I've never been. I should go, and if they'll let me vlog it, I will. And I did. And that's what they brought out was an angel board, which
Yeah.
I'd never heard
Yeah,
of.
I just think it's all bad. Just let things lay. You know what I mean?
Like I was telling you, I don't look for things, but when I'm in a place and I recognize it, then I say something. But I don't go out looking like, hey, where's that ghost at? I came for.
Now I see a winner.
Congratulations, Carol. We just threw a name.
Okay, so Carol DeWald, you are the
Congrats.
winner. Now you have to understand. Hey, all that applause is for you, Carol.
What did you win?
Carol won a $25 gift certificate to catcosmetics.com. Carol, I think that you have never won before. So all I need from you is your email address so we can send you the code. You are getting, it's Cat Cosmetics, CAT Cosmetics.com. It's my company. But this was donated by Frank Ferruccio.
Nice.
Oh, we have the best people
That's
ever.
so cool.
Oh, yeah.
That's so cool.
And thank you, Frank Ferruccio and Carol DeWald. Your name was generated. I don't know if there's any way to watch this, when they generate the name.
Right now, we are going to pick a random
Okay, great.
name.
Okay, so
Here we go.
Carol DeWald, make sure you private message me on this very Facebook page. Give me your email address, and we will get that to you. Okay?
The next one just got pulled, and it is. Oh, come on.
Here we go. I
Where
love
did
this thing.
go?
It makes life easy.
Tracy Saunders.
Tracy
Congrats.
Saunders on Canada.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Now, all that for you, Tracy. That's right. You have a couple of funsters. All right. So, Tracy, you may already have this. And if you do, just go ahead and write me, and I will put this back in the rotation. So go ahead and just text me on. Put it in the messages below. But this is donated by Barb Kevern, and Barb donates these because it works for her. It is Catherine Hicklin's Mind Amazements, and what it is it are 3 hypnosis programs on here that you listen to when you lay down at night. One is called Spiritual Reconnection Through Prayer, which is really good for people who have anxiety, who have trouble sleeping, or just if self-esteem, or it's a very beautiful program. And only listen to this when you're laying down, never driving, of course, because you are going to feel sleepy and not sleepy bad, but relaxed, and you just kind of drift off. There's also a stop smoking program on there. There's also a weight loss program on there. So all of them will help you rest and relax. And Barb was full of, she had not only have anxiety, which a lot of people and most people do have, but she also had bad insomnia, so this really helped her. Tracy, if you have this, just let me know. You can private message me, or you can go ahead and just say below, and we will take care of that. Moving on to the third name that's generated. Here we go. See? There we go. It is...
Jen Levy.
Oh, Jen Levy! Woo! Jen Levy! That's... Jen, you have won a $25 gift certificate to catcosmetics.com. Again, it was donated by Frank Ferruccio. And Frank, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Jen Levy appreciates it. And we thank you for your support of the show. We have so many great people.
The best luck.
You know what? He's going through a lot right now, health-wise, and so so I don't know how lucky he feels with that, but
I bet
does.
it changes, because I'm a firm believer in doing. When you do good things, it does come back to you.
He is
always.
Absolutely got the huge. He's a huge heart and soul, and I know you had a tough week. We write each other at night. How was your day? Because I had a really hard week with.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's okay, but they're ramping up my physical therapy, and so at night sometimes I just.
Oh, you're just throbbing and everything from all the work.
Yeah. So but tonight I'm all good.
Good.
Yeah. I called the physical terrorist, and I was like, it hurts. I don't think it's supposed to hurt now. And so anyway. Okay, so the next person is generated, and the wiener is, isn't this the greatest?
That is great.
It takes all the pressure off of me.
Then accusations of playing
Sherry
favorites.
McDonald King. This is a new
Nice.
name. Sherry McDonald King. Come on, Dwight. Let's go. Oh, he's like, no, Daddy's not there. Sherry McDonald King, congratulations. Sherry, you have won a gift that was donated by Kylie Catlett in Hawaii. She is a good friend of the show. And Kylie, I think the gifts that you have been giving people have been really like of the heart and spirit, and she has bought my book, and Sherry McDonald King, you will be getting this. It is called Cat and Fern's Excellent God Adventure.
Oh, that's great.
And it is 365 days of inspiration. So when you get it, Sherry, I'm going to do me a favor, private message me here on Facebook, and I just need your address and email, and I will. And so when you get it, it is not like this big book you read all at once. Actually, you'll just read the forward. It's about 3 pages. It will explain to you why we wrote this book. It's quite an amazing book. Fern would actually get messages, quite amazing ones, from God every morning at 5:30. She wrote them down for 50 years. They're amazing. I love knowing what God is trying to tell us. And the other days are me. And so you go then to the page with the date at the top. I don't see, let's see here. See the dates? And it's only like 2 pages a day. But it really revs your spirit up, and it's in a really good way. So Kylie Catlett, thank you so much for donating this.
It's a great gift.
Thank you. Todd Fisher's at the controls tonight, and he's on it. Let me tell you.
How cool is it in your life that you get to help improve and make other people's life better? Isn't that like,
Yes.
not everybody can be a doctor, but you don't have to be to just help other,
No.
you know what I mean?
But if it's in your heart, and you know, I've been writing for a long time, and I love, but not, books. It's just, I've always written, though. I started writing at a young age. And I was very influenced by, it's so funny. Sorry, I have a little short-term memory loss because of the accident.
Oh.
But Leo Buscaglia wrote books about love. And all I ever wanted was to meet him, because I read all of his books when I was, very young, not even a teenager yet. And then by my teenage years, I was just knee-deep in love and how we get it and what we do with it and how we treat it and how we feed it and, all of it. And so I think that he was just my greatest inspiration to become a writer about life and love, and and then it's so funny because I was an actress my whole life.
Yeah.
And yet I think that that was my platform, sort of, I guess you would call it, because this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
I agree.
And so I'm still an entertainer, and I bring all that onto the stage with me.
Well, you never know who out there is suffering in some way.
Everybody is.
Yeah, and look at how many people are just on watching this. This is like therapy for them, for their night.
And me. And
yeah,
you know what I mean? That's the beauty, is that we help each other.
It's so I think that's so great. It's such a gift to be able to do something like that in the world.
And so when I do hypnosis or mentalism shows, I pull all that up on the stage with me, because there's always a connection to make with people. And, it's a wonderful way to connect with people through music or, whatever your talent is. I mean, you just combine it with spirit. And it's
once
just,
you feel good, you start good things happen, I feel like.
You know what? Good things happen.
I do. I think I'll show you on the I've had this on my phone case. It's a little like
What's it say?
It's a little like fortune cookie thing, and it says, "The harder you work, the luckier you get." And I feel that as long as I'm putting out good in the world, I always go, it all just comes. Like meeting you and everything, it's just it was by accident,
just like
but
that,
it's like
right?
I'm
It
just
was
out
awesome.
doing my thing, trying to put out something for other people, and then all of a sudden people go, "Hey, you have to meet Kat. You have to meet Todd." You know what I mean? And that's
That's how it happened?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. And
that's so great.
I just go out and try and think positive and do something, and you'll be amazed at what crazy things enter your life that you weren't expecting.
I get grouchy when I'm in a lot of pain, and I don't like sharing that, so I just always tell everybody, listen, today is a bad day. Nothing bad happened to me, but it's like a pain day. And I'm grouchy, and I don't want to share. I want to just be alone. I try to keep all that to myself, not because I think it's unattractive. It's just I'd rather not share.
Yeah.
Because I know it's going to end.
Yeah.
I know that is going to leave, that feeling. And so why take people out with it?
I said
But
this,
even upper people have hard days, I mean.
Absolutely.
So, all right, so let's give away something else. Here we go.
And here we go.
Here we go. Thanks, Ryan, for hanging in with me.
No worries.
Okay, so we're going to see what this next name is. I'll look over there.
I feel good.
Helen Barrett. Are you feeling good, Helen?
Congratulations, Helen.
Helen Barrett. That's right. All right. Helen Barrett. Oh, my goodness. This is so awesome. Helen, you won a $25 gift card to Cat Cosmetics.
Awesome.
catcosmetics.com. Helen, make sure I have your email. So if I think I do, but I'm not sure. So private message so we can send these out to you. And this was donated by Judith Gisecki. Judith Gisecki, who is a friend of the show and here every week. We thank you for that so much, Judith. And Helen Barrett. I love you. Is my husband the best?
Very
Helen
witty.
Barrett, Congratulations. And for everybody who is watching, and if you won these gift certificates, and even if you haven't, we have a 20% off right now. We have had it, we carry this because of COVID, and, people are not able to go out and
Right.
shop. But I guarantee you, this is the best makeup and skincare you will ever have.
I've heard the same thing today before I came over here. She said the same thing, how much she loves the makeup that you
I'm telling
have.
you, I'm not just saying it because I own it. I wouldn't own it if I didn't feel it, if I didn't believe it. And so I'm really happy that when new people get turned on. But we have a 20% off sale, and the code is We Care, and we're going to be having an Easter sale in just 3 or 4 days. So if you want to hold out, because we usually, when we goose it up to like 30% on
Oh,
this.
nice.
Yes. Can you hear this? We're having a wonderful, these are all tracks from my show.
That's great.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I
I
didn't.
think I've heard this one before.
I think I've heard this one before too. All right. Here we go. Next, wiener, generate it, please. There we go.
Krista Lowell.
Krista Lawler.
Congratulations.
Yay, Krista. It's this one, right, Liz? Liz? It's this one? Krista Lawler, you have won a $25 gift certificate to catcosmetics.com. I have never given this many away in one night, but I think it's really good. Remember, if you use it, you can use the sale code too. And when you get to catcosmetics.com, you will see it. We have a banner, so if you forget the codes and all that. But I need to email this to you, so private message me, Krista Lawler. Make sure that I have your email. You have one. And this $25 gift certificate to catcosmetics.com was donated by Barbara Hammond, another great friend to the show. Thank you, Barbara. You are so good to your sisters and brothers, as we say
That's
here.
so nice of them.
Oh,
I mean,
no.
that's so
We
generous
have
that you're.
amazing people here in this room. So, Barbara Hammond, thank you. I'm glad you're here.
I feel good.
I do feel good, actually. It's good. Yesterday and the day before, not so good. Today, great.
Perfect.
Right. All right. That's good. I
Do you have
canceled
another name?
We are going to need another name. We have 8 prizes. This is prize 7.
Oh, gotcha.
Here we go.
Yep.
I love this thing, this generator. I just think it's the greatest. Cheryl Davidson Conway. All right, Cheryl Davidson Conway. Here you go. Cheryl Davidson's she's on the East Coast in Florida, and she's a night owl like I am. I always can tell who the night owls are because at night is when I go on Facebook and I see all what's going on with all my children. I try to follow things. I try to catch up on my messages and things like that. Another gift certificate to catcosmetics.com. Cheryl Davidson Conway for this is a $15 gift certificate, and it was donated by Amy Perkins. So Cheryl, Amy Perkins, first of all, I want to thank you for that. That is so kind. And I just wanted to say congratulations, Cheryl. Okay, so we're back. All right, so wait, Cheryl, until the Easter sale so that you can double this. You know what I mean? It's 30% off.
Be smart with
yeah,
it.
there you go. Be smart. There you go. Thank you, Liz. One more, is it, or 2? This is number
Okay.
8. There is that. Whoops, yeah, I take that and you take this. Okay, Liz Cochran. Here we go. Number 8. Ooh, the winner. We call them wieners.
Oh,
So the wiener is Julie Golden. Congratulations,
Congrats,
Julie. Oh, Julie. I've never met Julie, but I can tell you this. It's so interesting. There's 2 things. First of all, she's one of the kindest people. She writes me, and I can you can tell so much about a person from just the little things they say below. And so this
Yeah.
is a very special group of people. And we
Great.
love to be together every weekend. We have a show tonight and a show tomorrow night,
Yeah.
Todd and I. And then, but Julie, just know that I see you, I know who you are, and I feel your heart, and you are golden. It's a good last name for you, and so thank you. I love hearing from everybody, but Julie, you're always just a little love monster, and I love that about you. So you have won. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Okay, Kathy Winkler donated this. Thank you so much. And Julie, you want to know something? You never win. I don't think.
You won big today.
You got a $50 gift certificate to catcosmetics.com. And this was donated by Kathy Winkler. Thank you, Kathy. I'm so glad you're here tonight. This is great because I haven't
That's
had a
very
chance to
generous.
really thank you very much. So Julie Golden, you make sure I have your email address in my private message box right here at Facebook. And those are the gifts for tonight.
Congrats, everyone.
I want to thank. And who doesn't feel good when they hear that,
Gotta
right?
love James Brown.
Okay.
Gotta.
What? Cheryl's feeling good. All right. So I want to thank a lot of people tonight because this is the first time I've ever done a solo show in here. As you know, I like being in my office and right in your face on solo shows because we talk about life and love and hurts and everything, But tonight was a special night because I got to have Jordan on, and I wanted to show
That was so
videos.
nice of you.
And so I want to thank Ryan Clements, first of all, for being last minute editing, working after a full day at work yourself. Also for making this show possible because otherwise we wouldn't have had clips and. I love you,
Yeah, this
Ryan.
was a lot of fun. Thank you, Ryan.
Ryan, you're awesome. I can't wait till you get here.
Okay.
He's one of my besties for a long time.
That's great.
He's the person I tell my secrets to. Linda Kornreich, I tell my secrets to. Ryan, I tell my secrets to. It's not very many people I do that with,
You can't trust very many people.
No.
I mean, it's
And being honorable and trustworthy is the most important thing you'll ever aspire to do. And it's not hard.
yeah.
You just have to unlearn habits of gossiping or
Selfishness
you know what I mean?
a lot of times.
Yeah,
too.
so, but anyway, those are, my world is huge and my inner world is kind of small because of that reason.
Yeah.
And so Ryan is one of them. Stephanie Nicholas Lloyd, who's often with us here, is another, and Linda Kornreich. You're my ride or die friends, and I appreciate your honor. Thank you. And so I would like to say thank you, Ryan. I would like to say thank you to Liz Cochran because she also got a call at the last minute because it's Dora's day off, and I want her to have a
yeah.
life, right? So it's like tonight and tomorrow night I will have Liz here with us. I would like to thank my amazing husband who ran the show with Ryan tonight. Wow. I feel good. That's right. And also you.
Thank you.
I would like to thank you, Jordan, for being on the show.
My pleasure. I love hanging out with you, Kat.
This is great.
a blast just to get to meet your friends and your audience.
Well, this
Should, I
audience
guess the same,
will be your audience because, your vlog is, for me, one of the best vlogs on YouTube. Very,
you.
very fun. You make it fun, and
I try.
you don't.
I want people
You
to
don't
get
try,
out and
you
enjoy their
do.
life,
I didn't make this up. It's Yoda. There is no try,
That's true.
only do,
That's
right?
true. That's true.
And
Very
so
true.
I like to, show people what try is, right?
Yeah.
And so I don't know if you can, I'll put my hand up here. So Jordan, try to take that out of my hand. I didn't say take it. I said try. Put it back. Try to take that out of my hand. I didn't say take it. I said try. Are you starting to understand?
Yeah.
There is doing it and trying. If you're trying, you're not taking it, you're not participating. So I never say to anybody, if you say, hey, Kat, I'm having a party tonight. I'd love you to stop by. And I say, oh, Jordan, I'll try to. Am I
Yeah.
coming? No. Trying is lying. It is BS. We do. You understand?
Good point.
Yeah, so again, I didn't make this up. Yoda was the one, but the fact of the matter is that words do matter. There's Yoda right there. Oh, behind me. Oh. Yoda and baby. And so, yes, so we don't try, and you don't try, you do. You make a fantastic blog.
Thank you.
A vlog. And you also, put everything you have into it, and you go to great, interesting places and meet interesting people, and you allow us to do it through you. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
And I want to thank the audience, who is absolutely the best. You guys are my heart. And I am so happy to always spend time with you, without doubt. So thank you, everybody. And I'm trying to think of, do we have anything, Ryan, that we can play while people say goodnight to each other?
Oh, gee. What about one of his videos?
Okay, so go ahead and pick
There
one.
one
What's your
that-
favorite?
My favorite is probably when I went to Capri in Italy. And
Oh, I love it there,
It
yeah.
started in Naples. The Sophia Loren Clark Gable movie. I got to vlog that movie.
Yeah?
And I love.
What
Yeah,
that
that
one's
was one of
called?
my favorites.
I do. What's it called so he can look it up?
It started in Naples.
Is the name of the vlog?
Yeah.
It started in Naples.
Yeah.
Okay. So while Ryan pulls that up, this is the part where everybody likes to say goodnight to each other, because people have made friends and family. And so we always play something so that we don't just cut people off abruptly.
Yeah.
And we'll see you tomorrow night while Ryan pulls that up. Tomorrow night, Todd and I will be here. And then Debbie's birthday is coming up on April 1st, so we're going to do a special
it
show for
is.
that.
Awesome.
Ryan's been working his tail off on that. And we'll see you tomorrow night if you're just hanging out at home. Hang with us. Why not? It'll be fun. And if you haven't met my husband, fasten your seatbelt. That's all I've got to say. Okay, so let's see. While you're looking for that, I just want to say,
Yep,
If you want to
hold on
write
here.
essays that
all right,
inspire,
Linda's here. Aubrey Thurber.
writer connections.
Oh my gosh! Look at Mariana DeLeon Matthews. There's one of my other ride or dies. And then I have Aldana here. Ferruccio, Debbie Auction. We have one tomorrow night. Becky Bradley, thank you. Judith IDK. She used to be Judith Don't Know. I love that. Gillian Gray. Lisa Falls, I love you back. You're asking when there's going to be a Get Your Fire Back. I can't schedule one until I know we can actually follow through with it. So I'm waiting for the curve to flatten. Right? I'm waiting for that curve to flatten. And one will be scheduled immediately because I miss having them. Barb Cavern,
family
you
and
are awesome. Thank you for everything tonight. Laytess, Kathleen Anderson, Joshua Dixon, and Jennifer Levy, of course. I think Beth Hughes. I don't get to see everybody, but Jan Hanley. Hello, Jean Supa. Hi, Jean. It's good to have you here. Stephen Edwards. Love Stephen Edwards. God, and so many people I've met when I was on tour. So it's like,
That's isn't that cool?
Yeah, it's wonderful. So thank you, everybody. And Ryan, go ahead and play that, and we will say goodnight to you, everybody. Just stay with it as long as you want to, and say goodnight to each other. And you get to see each other tomorrow night, too. That's a good thing. Jordan, you're the best guest. Thank you so much. Thank you.
My pleasure.
All right.
Anytime, literally, anytime.
Remember to check out Days
Just show-
with Jordan the Lion at YouTube. DAZE. Good night, everybody. Love you like crazy. A crazy person.
10 things you'll love or hate about a country, or things you should check out while you're there. And he has mentioned these in different vlogs, or different videos, so I figured I'd try one. I told my girlfriend jokingly before the trip, I said Italians are supposed to be very welcoming and nice, so when I get to where Lucia and Nando lived, I might go knock on that door and see if those people will just let me see inside their house. I would never normally do that anywhere else, but I'm like, maybe in Italy I will. And then when I got there, I see the doors open and there's a guy working on it, and I go in there and just like, as soon as I mentioned to him what I was trying to do, he lit up and he was like, absolutely, yeah, come on in, you can, yeah. He was so cool about it. So if any of the locations that I wanted to get into was possible, that was the one I wanted to see. We're actually going to be getting on the boat right across the street.
Allora, leaving este, il
That's the welcome statue.
Alors il vous dit bonjour, il est toujours souriant. Okay, so yes.
Look how blue that water is. That is no joke.
Il y a le reflet de la volute, like the statue of a Virgin Mary. Hallo bitte, hallo, jetzt am linken Seite, schauen Sie da oben, da oben. Aber schauen Sie auch die schöne Farbe. Aber wir sehen von hier die Amalfiküste. Die kleine Dörfer da, wo die Sonne scheint, ist Amalfis später. Schauen Sie am Ecke, da rechte Seite, wir haben kleine römische Ruinen. On voit la côte amalfitaine, le village avec des briques, dans le coin à droite, c'est des vestiges romains. Mais il y a une grosse tire, perche. Sagen Sie bitte. Alors écoutez, automatiquement.
So in the movie, they go driving that boat right through the middle of the King Kong rock.
Imagination. Le capitaine qui va y penser à Claudia. Alors, momento. Oh yeah, yes. Alors, monsieur, monsieur, mesdames, après la mise dans l'acte des Pharaonies, on aura beaucoup de papillons. It was built by the German family group, 1902. Le Québec, regardez à droite, regardez à... The lighthouse here is one of the most powerful we have in Italy. You see that one over there. When the night are very clear, we see the light till 50 kilometers. It's the side of the sunset, and so that's why it's always very busy at evening time. Remarquez, ce côté occidental ici, la côte elle n'est pas à pic, et alors c'est de ce côté-ci que l'île Capri a eu beaucoup de problèmes dans le Moyen-Âge, c'est-à-dire les attaques des Sarrasins et des pirates arrivaient toujours de ce côté-ci, et c'est pour cela que the long the necessity of watchtowers. Via un albemarle grosso a Capri, des îles volcaniques, la grande île.
There's the Blue Lagoon. You have to go on a small boat and pull yourself in with that chain.
Including the famous Blue Grotto, where the picturesque native boatmen sing the Italian hit parade.
Yesterday's thinking is done. New ideas? We have a ton, so keep pushing forward toward a better world for everyone. Make a different future. Start different at GoDaddy.com.
I'm going to switch boats and do that.